Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody to the monthly Town of Milton Board meeting. Today is January the 29th, 2025. Time is 6:30. I'd like to get the meeting started with a pledge of allegiance by Councilwoman Kerr.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilman Delnicki.
Present.
Councilwoman Soden.
Present.
Councilman Froelich.
Present.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Present.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Present. First on the agenda, a motion to accept the minutes from the December 18th, 2024 Town Board meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Delnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden.
Yes.
Councilman Froelich.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, the time is 6:31 PM. We'll have a public hearing to consider a local law placing a temporary moratorium on large commercial scale solar energy installations and battery storage facilities in the town of Milton. Brenda, will you read the notice, please?
Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Milton will hold the public hearing on Wednesday, January 29th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear from the public regarding the proposed local law number 1 of 2025, establishing a temporary moratorium on large commercial scale solar energy installations and battery storage facilities within the Town of Milton. The documentation for the local law is located on the Town of Milton website.
Thank you, Brenda. The public hearing for the temporary placing of a moratorium on the large-scale solar energy installations and battery storage facilities is now open. If anybody in the audience would like to speak. Yes, ma'am. Come right up there. Yes. Is that on?
Nope. You'll have to turn the microphone on.
There's just a clip on the front, ma'am. Eric, you want to help her? Thank you.
That'll solve it.
Hi, my name is Janet Bartow and I live at 280 Middle Line Road. I've come out this evening in support of the moratorium on the solar farms. While I do support property rights, I'm concerned about the number of solar farms that are already approved in the R2 district. The taking of open space, ag land, and cutting forested areas makes a patchwork of our rural areas in the rural part of our town. I'm concerned for our rural neighborhoods and the effect this could have on them. I think our town has taken on enough of its fair share of this type of development and encourage you to adjust the zoning to not allow any more solar farms. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else in the audience? John
Hello,
Mucker?
sir. Can you hear me? I'm on Zoom. Can you all hear me?
By these things. And it turns out the Munters, unfortunately, or fortunately, have a lot of land that borders the main power line from Spire Falls to Rotterdam. As a result, we get up to 3 calls a week asking us to devote our land to solar farms. And as an engineer, I don't want to go into that, but I have a lot of reservations on how long this solar farm system is gonna work as an energy system to get us away from fossil fuels. But at the same time, as landowners, I feel we, as a landowner, we're only gonna own the land for a generation or two. And we have a stewardship function to make sure this land is gonna move forward to the next generation, to make the town of Milton as good a place to be as it is today. And for this reason, I happen to be on this comprehensive plan board. And as you all know, it takes a long time to get our new comprehensive plan into view, because we have a lot of thought processes to go through. And for that reason, I think having a moratorium on both solar farms and especially the battery plants, I think we don't understand these battery plants. If we have our local fire departments come into a fire at a battery plant, then it's like owning your own car today. The thing quits. I used to be able to fix it. Today, I know enough to keep the hood down and call somebody that can do it. And I think with the fire departments today coming to attack one of these battery plants, they might just as well pack up and go home and keep their people safe. And for that reason, I think it's very important for us to take this into consideration and make sure that we can put a hold on this until we can totally understand what direction the town should go in. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else in the audience like to speak? Tom Bogosian.
Good evening.
Evening.
It is way warmer in Alaska than it is here. Really? I can assure you of that. I was there for a month and it was in the 30s, and I hear everybody talking about 2 and 4 and minus 20.
Welcome home.
But yeah, plus and minus. I just wanted to quickly speak about the pending moratorium on the large scale solar fields. Rarely would you probably see a developer Republican up here mentioning it's a good idea to have a moratorium, but I think it is a good idea, and I applaud the board for taking that action of implementing a moratorium. It isn't done yet, but I'm assuming we will put it in place. Lots of things will be considered, and if the moratorium is in place, I'm sure there's going to be an opportunity to talk about it, and so the law can be adjusted to accommodate these things. But I know our neighboring communities are building many. We're looking at the town of Boston and Charlton and all around us. And I think as a town, we need to consider location of facilities amongst many things. I know, and I believe I'm correct in understanding there's 2 that are in the process, the Astro Brothers and Stone Church, that will be grandfathered in. And, they've been going down this road, and it would probably be unfair to them to knock them off and wait 12 or 18 months to continue their application. But they happen to be 2 instances of great location. And then on Stone Church, from what I've looked at, it's rarely, if at all, visible from Stone Church Road. And there's an entrance off of Stone Church and it's set back in. And as for the Austro Brothers, it's a landfill. Great use. When I got built houses on, I'm not gonna put anything on top of it. So I think it's an excellent use. So location needs to be considered because the resulting visibility or lack of visibility is going to be very important to the aesthetics of the community. Agricultural impacts, hay fields, cornfields, they're getting consumed by solar fields. And I think that's going to really have an impact on the economy to not only farmers, but ultimately to the consumer. Your hay is going to be shipped in, your corn is going to be shipped in. It's not going to be here locally. And the aesthetics of our community. And we had a comprehensive plan, and we got a big development coming across the street. And that's been 20, 25 years in the process and bringing it to fruition. And during that comprehensive plan, we looked at keeping lots of other areas of the community rural. And I think that's very important. And a lot of people live where they live because of those rural characteristics. So I'm sure there'll be an opportunity in the future to add input to the board or to whoever is holding public hearings in regards to the large scale solar. But I applaud you for being out in front of it. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else from the audience like to speak? Hearing none, Brenda via Zoom.
You have 2 on Zoom. Might give this.
Yep, unmute one of them. And who is it?
Anthony Raganella.
Anthony, can you hear me?
Good evening. How are you? Can you hear me?
Good evening. Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, sir. So my family and I own property in the town of Milton, and I just wanted to make a quick comment in regard to the local law that's being considered. I want to make you all aware that we're contracted to sell our 37-acre property, which is located on Route 29 and Middle Line Road, to a solar farm developer. The sale is obviously subject to the approval of the town allowing the solar farm. We've been paying taxes on the property while trying to sell it for many years. We've recently given the utility company an easement for the new power lines adjacent to our land. Aesthetically, which I know is a concern, we believe that buffer landscape could easily be put in place to block the view of any solar panels if necessary. We believe that the moratorium is short-sighted and very unfair. The moratorium not only diminishes the value of Milton properties, but also prevents numerous benefits to the town. Allowing solar farms safely promotes sustainability by reducing reliance on fossil fuels and lowering the carbon footprint and continuing and contributing to environmental conservation. It also encourages energy independence. Allowing solar farms would increase the property tax income to our town and the county without adding the need to build additional infrastructure or schools. Furthermore, solar energy can help stabilize energy prices, reducing utility costs and creating local jobs in the renewable energy sector. In the long run, solar farms can enhance Milton's appeal as an eco-friendly, forward-thinking community. We would ask you to not impose the moratorium, and we appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
We got one more, Joe Seaman.
Joe, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi. I want to echo some of the things that Mr. Raganella just said. I think a moratorium on solar farms is terribly wrong. We have a climate crisis. We need to stop burning fossil fuels. The entire world scientific community, every scientific academic institution, including the National Academy of Sciences and every scientific institution across the world, has come to the consensus that we have to stop burning fossil fuels. We've begun to see terrible fires in Los Angeles. We smelled the smoke from the fires coming from New Jersey and the Hudson Valley, and the other year from Canada. We've seen flooding in upstate New York and Vermont, terrible hurricanes in places that wasn't typical. And it can happen here. This is a worldwide crisis, and everyone including the town of Milton, all of us have an obligation to do our part to, as quickly as possible, transition from burning fossil fuels to solar power. And we can address people's concerns. We can make sure that when it's put on farmland, that the farmland is usable for grazing, that we're not actually destroying farmland. We can, of course, help farmers save their land and be profitable where there's not. And of course, as Mr. Raganella explained, this is a major, would be, developing solar farms would be a major economic boon, would make our town an attractive place for people to want to be a part of. It's a moral obligation to do everything we can to stop burning fossil fuels and transition to solar and other clean energy sources.
Is that it, Joe?
I think, I hope you all got the point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
No, that's it.
Can I get a motion to close the public hearing, please?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Delnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden, Councilman Frolich,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next on the agenda, public comment, number one on the agenda items only. Public comment number one is now open if anyone in the audience would like to speak. Hearing none. Andrew, do we have anybody on Zoom? One on Zoom. Public comment number one is now closed. Next on the agenda is a presentation by Carrie Scribner. Good evening, Carrie.
I'll be familiar to be in a boardroom because I was a news reporter for all of the there's actually for well, more years than I care to tell you, but for many, many years. So it's funny to be on this side and not taking notes. I'm gonna turn these around because you all have seen my beautiful son here. So I'm gonna turn him around to the audience. I'm born and raised in Latham, went to school in Albany and have lived in Saratoga County ever since. My children were all raised and lived here and now live in the town of Milton. So this is Nicholas, this is my youngest, he was 27 years old. This is his lifeguard's whistle for the 4 years that he spent at the village pool, possibly yelling and blowing his whistle at some of your children and grandchildren. There were stories that more than one child grabbed this whistle and blew it. So I'm never gonna. And this here is something he was especially proud of, and this is his Saratoga County work shirt. He was an associate electrician for the Saratoga County Department of Sewer. It was what he studied. It was he was talented and he loved his job. Everyone loved him, and he had a great future. This little can of soda here has an ingredient that killed him. And I bought this little can of soda just down by the factory restaurant a couple hours ago for $7. No, I'm obviously over 21. But I did not have to show, so I did not have to show ID, but I asked the owner, what's the minimum age? And he looked at me like I was speaking in her language. Minimum age. So there is no minimum age in New York. The ingredient, I have to say, it's hard for me to say the name, it's called kratom. I don't know if any of you have heard of it. Don't be surprised if you haven't, because most people over 40 have not. It's spelled Kratom. You may have heard, not have heard that, but I guarantee you, the youngsters in your family have. And I guarantee you their friends have too. And in our town of Milton, Kratom is available in soft drinks, capsules, powders to make your own capsules, gummies, honey sticks, little fizzy drink mixes, pot pills. If you saw them, you would not know it was anything else. It is not an illegal drug. It is a substance. And it is billed as an energy enhancer. It's not regulated. There's no federal overview. Nobody inspects it. Nobody tests it. Nobody tracks it. There's no database for it. And yet it's everywhere. CBS News has called Kratom gas station heroin. So my son was never a good sleeper. He had insomnia. So he tried all the usual things, NyQuil, Benadryl, chamomile tea, and was having trouble staying awake during classes in school. And so one of his friends said, there's a new herb out there, which is all it's known as an herb. It's not been classified as a drug. There's a new herb out there that will enhance your energy. It's like drinking 3 or 4 cups of coffee, but you won't have to pee afterwards. You can use it. It will make you feel energetic for 3 or 4 hours, and then you make it through your morning classes. I'm going to pass this around for you to see it so that you know it's real. But it comes from a plant in Southeast Asia. Kratom are leaves, green leaves. If anybody's familiar with echinacea, it still is a popular health and wellness substance. I would say it looks like echinacea tablets. Yeah. On here, it's called White Rabbit. It's just one of many names. It says 0 sugar, 0 alcohol. But it also says tropical evergreen tree in the coffee family, which is not true, native to Southeast Asia, is indigenous, you know what I'm saying, to Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, New Guinea, where it has been used as an herbal remedy since at least the 19th century. And just a little more blurb from here. There'll be moved elevation. Increased alertness, physical and mental energy, talkativeness, in case you want that, and better physical ability. And it is, I think, it's 0 calories, 0 calories. So, watch out for girls, because one of the side effects is weight loss and appetite suppressant. So my son starts taking this, and I was aware, I was a watchful mom. I had 2 other children. Nicholas was my youngest, and I was aware that he wasn't sleeping. So I said, let's go to a doctor who prescribed medication. But Nick, being sort of a granola kid, wanted to take something more natural. So this herb from a tree in South Asia is what he took instead. Billions of batches of kratom are shipped into the US every year. Kratom is not regularly related as a supplement or a drug. There is no legitimate medical or nutritional use for kratom. None are tested, inspected, or regulated. None carry warning labels or suggested doses. the most common way to buy your kratom is to bring a little paper bag or a big paper bag or whatever size bag and scoop it and dump it. There's no warning on this bag that you brought in that this stuff is as addicting as heroin, morphine, opiates. There are 1.7 million Americans hooked on kratom. My son was one of them. Early on, you will feel energy. I don't drink coffee, so I don't know how much coffee energy. But within a very short period of time, within months, 4 to 6 months, you are addicted. And after that point, in as little as 3 to 5 hours without a dose, and again, there's no recommended dose on any of this non-packaging, so we don't know what a dose is. We don't know. Is it a tablespoon? Is it 2 drinks, 1 drink? We don't know what a dosage. I don't know how much my son was taking because there's no recommended dose. And as little as 3 to 5 hours, users will begin to expect significant withdrawal effects, including clammy hands, nausea, passing out. And then they will need to keep taking more and more and more and more and more. In higher doses, and I saw this in my son, kratom causes delusions, insomnia, for the kid that needed to sleep, insomnia, high blood pressure, sweating, vomiting, loss of appetite. This skinny boy lost 22 pounds. 22 pounds. It was 150 to start. Anxiety, aggression, heart and liver damage. And yet he did this great job at Saratoga County, and every night I ask him in my prayers, how did you do it, Nick? How did you do it? But he managed, and he pulled through. He pulled through. However, our world came to a stop on November 17th, 2024, when 2 very common side effects of kratom, early on, not long-term use, vomiting and catatonic sleep, collided. And for Nick, it was the perfect storm. Yes, Fred, yes. He lived alone, was a little cat, and began vomiting and couldn't even turn his head to the side or, bring his chest forward or do anything because he was alone. Had there been somebody with him, he turned him over. But any drug that causes catatonic sleep and vomiting shouldn't be out there, much less seizures and liver damage and heart damage. My middle son found him. 28, he finds his 26-year-old brother. Already cold. And if you're looking for me that night, I was out on the lawn screaming and throwing grass. That's where I was that night. This is what I want. I want some sanctions on kratom. I want federal laws on kratom. I want inspections on kratom. I want studies of the long-term effects of kratom. The DEA put forward, and the FDA both put forward bills in 2016, which preceded when my son got a hold of it. Preceded. But they could have stopped it. To do some inspections, to label warnings, to put dosage amounts on all packages. And that bill sat for the year 2016 and went nowhere. There was a very large multi-billionaire lobbyist group called ACA, which you would think would mean something good. The American, AKA, the American Kratom Act. And that's where money ends. And follow money, and that's where it ends. And it won't speak to me, even as a former press person. I did get a copy of a press release that they sent out, not a press release, a secret coded email that they sent out. And whenever any state has any brouhaha about looking at kratom, not even bills on the table, nothing, just looking at it, they fly in their hundreds of thousands of lobbyists and wine and dine them and put them up in a nice restaurant and they lobby and they picket and they do anything they can. Whitney Design, a friend of mine, did a special several years ago on the dangers of kratom. And the one gentleman pharmacist who spoke to her about knowing about its danger was put out of business and threatened with a carve-out. So you're not threatening me. I lost a kid, threatened me. But someone has to help. And that's why I'm here, because my son was the first young person to die in the Northeast with no other substances in his body. He was not a substance user. He was trying to pick the leaves and the berries and the twigs instead of substances. He had nothing else in his system. Ice cream, I think, was ice cream in his system. The few others that have died had other substances in their systems, and it could not be attributed directly to kratom. My son's can. He's going to be a case study from Albany Med and will be put in medical journals. But you know what? Doesn't bring it back. Doesn't bring it back. So for everyone in this room, please know that this exists. When you see it at gas stations and quick stops, ask them why they're selling it. Or ask them if they know what it is. They probably won't. And anybody in any position to have a voice, please make a voice about kratom. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerr.
Yeah.
Moving on with the agenda. Next on the agenda is resolution number 16 of 2025. Resolution to approve the modification of Phase 2 electrical pre-engineered metal highway garage building contracts and other contracts for the Rollins Street Highway Garage Facility per recommendation of Delaware Engineer, DPC, and the Facilities Committee. Whereas the town board was advised a certain additional electrical work was recently discovered that needs to be pursued as part of Phase 2 construction for the new Rollins Street Highway Facility, which upon further review will benefit the town, and the project were not anticipated nor covered in the original contract entered in between the town and the contractors, and which now have been recommended by Delaware Engineer and DPC and the town engineer, project architect, and now therefore be it resolved, the town board, after due consideration upon recommendations from the Town Facilities Committee, town engineer, project architect, Delaware Engineer, DPC, a review of the town comptroller authorizes and awards the following contract modification and change orders as set forth in the attached letter captioned recommendation to approve contract modifications of Delaware DPC dated January the 29th of 2025. Resolved that the town board hereby directs the town supervisor to take whatever steps are necessary to execute agreements between the Town of Milton B&D Industries, Roselle Industries Incorporated, Blank LLC, and RMB Mechanical Incorporated for such contract modification improvements and work and credits back to the town, and any required change order documentation or inspection documentation which will be needed and necessary for processing the completion of the contract modification and change orders, and to do all that is needed and required to pay and/or credit back all amounts owed under this agreement. Now therefore be resolved by the Town Board, Town of Milton, a motion for resolution number 16.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Del Nicky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden,
Yes.
Councilman Froelich,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, resolution number 17 of 2025, resolution approving the local law number 1 of 2025, establishing a temporary moratorium on large commercial scale solar energy installation and battery storage facilities in the town of Milton, whereas the town board recognizes solar energy offers benefits for energy conservation and reduction in reliance of fossil fuels. And as such, the development of solar energy facilities continues to grow. Whereas the town board, Town of Milton, after due deliberation and consideration, believes it to be in the town's best interest as well in the town's best interest to the residents and furtherance of objectives of the town's comprehensive plan to enact the said local law. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board, Town of Milton hereby approves and enacts local law number 1 of 2025 entitled Establishing a Temporary Moratorium on Large Commercial Scale Solar Energy Installation and Battery Storage Facilities in the town of Milton. A full copy of said local law number 1 of 2025 is attached here to and further resolved that the town clerk being hereby is directed to enter in a local law in the minutes of the meeting in the local law book of the town of Milton and file the same with the Secretary of the State of New York and give due proper notice of the adoption of the same as is otherwise provided by law. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board, Town of Milton, a motion for resolution number 17.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Del Nicky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden,
Yes.
Councilman Froelich,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next on the agenda, a motion to schedule a public hearing to consider a local law amending section 180-24 subdivision H of article number 6, chapter 180 zoning of the town of Milton on February 26, 2025 at 6:30 PM.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Del Nicky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden,
Yes.
Councilman Froelich,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, a motion to accept the resignation of John David Wood from the zoning board effective immediately and to post the zoning board member position.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Del Nicky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden,
Yes.
Councilman Froelich,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr,
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, department and committee reports, animal control, Eric.
This is the Animal Control Monthly Report for December 2024. Total calls 59, bite cases 2, animals seized 4, unlicensed dog was one of 7 tickets issued, running at large was the other. Respectfully submitted, David Drzezinski, Animal Control Officer.
Thank you, Eric. Next, assessor's office, Eric also.
A note from the Assessor's Office, January 2025. Happy New Year, Town of Milton residents! Exclamation point. The deadline to submit any exemption for the 2025 roll must be submitted no later than March 1st, 2025. If your primary residence is in the Town of Milton and you are 65 or older, please check with the Assessor's Office to see if you qualify for any additional exceptions. You must be 65 or older by December 31st, 2025. New homeowners, please reach out to New York State Tax and Finance to sign up for STAR Credit Program. The number is 518-457-2036, or you can do it online, www.tax.ny.gov. Our office is in the process of reviewing all apartment buildings and condominiums for the 2025 assessment roll in the Town of Milton. Please return the questionnaire sent out in December to help with our data collection. Kind regards, Laura Arminsky, Town of Milton Assessor.
Thank you, Eric. Next, buildings and grounds, John.
I'm sorry. During the month of December, I did daily cleaning of the community center and all
Sure.
town offices, including the highway department. We did set up and takedowns at the community center as needed for senior events and rentals. Monthly inspections of fire extinguishers and AED machines at town hall and the community center. I wash and wax the event floor at the community center, painted the entranceway, the kitchen, and the handicap bathroom. We cleaned all snow and ice from parking lots, sidewalks to ensure safety of all who visited Town Hall and Community Center. Respectfully submitted, Mark Leroy, Maintenance Supervisor.
Thank you, Barb. Building department now, John.
I realize, Barb, that you want to be like me.
Sorry about that. Sorry, John. We got keep
That
going.
was my mistake, John.
Keep it rolling, John.
During the month of December, the Code Enforcement Department
Ay, ay, ay,
managed
I'm so-
24 building permits, collected $4,750 in building permit fees, collected $500 in planning and zoning board application fees, collected $2,000 in parks and rec fees, completed 108 construction inspections, fulfilled 25 fire safety inspections, responded to 11 code enforcement violations. A total of 9 certificate of occupancies were issued, along with 20 certificates of compliance.
Thank you, John. Next, the Comptroller's financial reporting package. It was issued to the town board. It's made available for public inspection on the town's website. Next, economic development, John Align.
Good evening. Economic development activities during the final month of the year were limited due to holiday seasons, particularly in the last 2 weeks of December. With many businesses' contacts observing holiday breaks, there was a notable decrease in engagement and progress. Despite the slow period, I utilized the time for internal planning and strategizing for the upcoming year. Looking ahead to 2025, I anticipate a return to full activity with a renewed focus on following up with previous made contacts and continuing ongoing projects. As the new year begins, I'm optimistic about the potential for significant progress and development in months ahead. The airport diner. I met with the proposed operator of the diner, which is to be located in the new Saratoga County Airport, along with the new project manager to inspect the partially completed interior and approve any final details prior to completion. The operator was pleased with the progress, had all of his questions answered satisfactorily, and is excited about the prospect of starting the new operation. He met a few days later with county officials to discuss the lease agreement and apparently has come to terms with the county, which will prepare the contract and bring to the Board of Supervisors for approval. Once the contract is signed, the operator will begin the process of finalizing all the necessary operational details in anticipation of it opening sometimes in May. The North Line Road project, the convenience store and gas station. A number of residents have questioned when this project will be completed and open for operation. I contacted the owner, who is out of the country, and learned that the opening date is still in question, but he would contact me once he returns to the area. Our new cannabis dispensary. This business had a soft opening on January 3rd, and for the past few weeks, business has been very good according to the owner. The grand opening has not yet been scheduled, but it is anticipated sometimes in early February. Ted's Fish Fry. I met with the project owner to discuss the progress of the renovations of the former Pizza Hut. The interior has been completely gutted in anticipation of a completely remodeled seafood restaurant floor plan, which should be a very welcome addition to the town's dining options. Completion of the remodel work and opening is anticipated in June, but possibly at an earlier date. Steakhouse prospects. 3 steakhouses were initially approached previously as potential investors in Milton. While all remain viable options, one has shown increased interest. Further communication has taken place and discussions are ongoing. While no final decision has been made, there is continued optimism about the prospect, and follow-up efforts are in progress to move the potential investment forward. We have local resident support. And a local resident recently reached out to express interest in economic development and shared several ideas that could benefit the town. We met to discuss these suggestions, and I found them to have merit. I greatly appreciate his proactive interest in the town's future and encourage other residents to contact me with any viable ideas or proposals. Community engagement is crucial for our growth, and I welcome continued input from all of our local residents. Contacting local businesses as part of my ongoing efforts to build relationships with established local businesses. I met with several business owners, including one new addition to our town center. The former vacuum repair shop on Geyser Road is now home to Liberty Tax Service, which offers tax preparation services. This new business further enhances the variety of beneficial services available to our residents, supporting both the local economy and community needs. I look forward to continuing these conversations and fostering positive connections with our local business owners. East Saratoga Economic Development Corporation. I met with Greg Connors, head of the SCDC, to gain his additional insight on Milton's future growth. Greg had previously been invited to speak at one of our comprehensive plan meetings, and I saw his perspective on how Milton aligns with broader county development plans. Our conversation was both informative and beneficial. I appreciated his expertise and look forward to using his information to help guide our community's continued development. Additional activities. As member of the Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee, I continue to attend monthly meetings in addition to the regular planning board meetings, as well as functions of the Saratoga Chamber of Commerce. That's it for last month. Thank you.
John.
Thanks, John.
Eric, do we have a health officer?
We do. 2025 goals for community public health. Continue to maintain and develop green areas for recreation, connecting neighborhoods with trailways, recreation areas, and nature trails. Encourage immunizations. The healthcare burden of flu, COVID, and RSV is high. Maintenance of community protection against polio, measles, German measles, chickenpox, mumps, and whooping cough is essential to prevent outbreaks of these serious and deadly diseases. Protecting our waterways and water supplies from pollutants and toxins is a high priority. Investing in programs that promote family health and well-being, including mental wellness, and partnering with community agencies. Signed, Gail Buckley, MD.
Thank you, Eric. Next, Highway Department, John.
Okay, the Highway Department has been busy clearing the roadways from the numerous snowstorms that have already occurred this season. Once our roadways are clear, we do send crews out to push back the snow on the sides of the roads and in the intersections. The safety of our residents is always one of our top priorities. The Highway Department has also been picking up Christmas trees. We urge residents to please put your tree curbside as soon as possible for pickup. We ask residents to remember the town code that prevents them from parking on the roadways from November until April. The code makes sure the roadways are clear so we can safely plow and do our jobs in an efficient manner. The Highway Department also makes a salt and sand mixture available to town residents during the winter months at 503 Geyser Road. The sand and salt mixture will only be available to town residents on a first-come, first-served basis. The sand and salt mixture may only be taken in 5-gallon buckets or containers. That's it.
Thank you, John. Next, historian Mike.
Good evening, everybody. You guys mind if I turn the lectern?
No, not at all.
This first, I want to start by updating the public on the Kessel Ring site. Periodically, the Department of Energy sent us a report, let us know what's going on over there. On January 27th, the town of Milton received a report from the U.S. Department of Energy dated January 17th, 2025. The report updated the town of Milton on ongoing projects and general maintenance performed at the Kessel Ring site in 2024. In all, the report included a brief description of 39 projects and maintenance tasks performed. The report is filed in the vault in the town of Milton. So we probably get these like every 6 months, and they're all filed downstairs in the vault and special file cabinet for it. So just in case the public has any questions about what's going on over there. This month, I've been focused on a number of tasks. I completed my research on the 2025 Heritage Award. I'm a little bit ahead of schedule. We don't give it out until September, but I'd like to get things finished and over with, and that's my first task done for this year already. I also met with the Milton 250th Committee on January 14th to discuss upcoming events and projects for 2025 related to the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War, which include 3 events open to the public this year, which we will notify people of as the dates get closer. Upon the request of a town resident, I also did research on the original St. Mary's Catholic Church in Ballston Spa. I don't know if you guys knew this, but the original St. Mary's Church was actually down by the Brookside Museum. Yeah, so I thought while I was doing the research, I found that interesting. Yeah. In fact, I think the building is partially still there. It's been remodified into a house, but also, I wrote up a proclamation recognizing one of our residents turning 100 years old on January 13th. Unfortunately, considering the weather, we were going to get the award tonight, a little plaque in celebration of her becoming a centenarian. I had to look it up. And the fact is that I think Dave and I did the research, and only 90,000 people in the United States have reached 100 years old. That's less than 0.03% of the population. So again, that's an achievement, because I don't think any of us will actually reach that point. Maybe we will. Some of us might get lucky, but it's a real achievement to reach that. And again, I was happy when the supervisor got this letter asking us to do this. It's kind of a really cool thing to do for the residents of the community. Now, I have one more thing too. I have to ask of you guys. In June of 2026, the town of Milton must recognize a deceased veteran. So if anybody has somebody in mind, a deceased relative who lived in the town at some point, contact me here, and we can see if we can put the wheels in motion to try to get recognition for that person. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks, Mike.
I'll be sitting up here.
Next, Justice Court, Barb.
Report for the month of December 2024 for the Justice Courts. Fines, $2,284. Surcharges, $2,103. Civil fees, $685, for a total of $5,072. And I just want to say I had the opportunity to sit on Tim Brown. We have to distinguish the two Browns now, last week. And if you have the opportunity, go in and sit in on our courts and see how well run they are and how respectful our justices are to everyone that appears.
Thank you, Barb. Next, planning consultant, planning and zoning board report, Meg.
Okay, first up, we have the planner monthly report, and that's from Sophia Maruso. She's been busy with the planning board and zoning board, going to their meetings and being involved with any of their actions. A couple things to highlight: the planning reviews for the proposed McDonald's site plan, 10 Treble Ave, and 6010 County Farm Road for the cell tower site plan. Those are two big actions that are before the boards. Coordination with the highway superintendent on the McDonald's project review regarding curb cuts. Coordination with the assessor regarding proposed code change, the cell tower, and unredacted lease. Ongoing coordination with Amanda on application intake and content review. Assessing application completeness, identifying immediate issues, and providing direction to applicants, consultants based on the review. And for both the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals applications, ongoing coordination with Bill Lewis on the ZBA applications and pre-application conferences and land use inquiries. Ongoing coordination with Delaware Engineering regarding project reviews and communications with the county and other agencies. Ongoing coordination with Chairman Bartow on the Planning Board and Chairman Terhune on the Zoning Board on staff reviews. All right, and we'll move on to the planning and zoning. All right. First off, I'd like to welcome our new planning and zoning attorney, Glenn. How do you say his last name? Bruning?
Morning.
From Miller, Mannix, Schreckner and Halfman. First up is the planning board, and that was on January 8th. Our next meeting is February 12th. 272 Stone Church Road was a major subdivision, 34 lots. A public hearing continued. The applicant, Saratoga County DPW, Airport, and others met on December 19th, working on easement language. Need to work with council and county to finalize traffic mitigation being worked on for a four-way stop on Geyser and Stone Church with the county, and a public hearing conducted and adjourned to February 12th. 10 Treble Avenue, special use and site plan for the McDonald's. Applicant will revise landscaping based on planner comments, utilities and infrastructure design modifications needed based on town designated engineer comments, revised architectural design of the building presented based on previous comments. Variance will be needed by the ZBA for the setback 10 feet and 15 feet max. 10 feet minimum and 15 feet maximum for the drive-through lane canopy. 6010 County Farm Road, the cell tower, special use and site plan. Planning board is in the seeker. They're the lead agent, the planning board. Environmental assessment form part 2 was completed, negative declaration. Area variance needed from the ZBA for the height. And public hearing with the ZBA is scheduled. It was scheduled for the 23rd of January, and I'll get to that. Planning board scheduled the public hearing for the action for March 12th. On to the zoning board. I have two actually, because when our town board meeting got pushed off 1 week, now we have two meetings to cover for zoning board. So December 19th, 2024 meeting, we had 12 Vichy Lane or Vichy Drive area variance, and the area variance was approved. And then 6010 County Farm Road for the cell tower area variance. They scheduled the public hearing, which did already take place January 23rd. And in the January 23rd meeting, they requested a variance relief for the cell tower height of 44 feet from 150 max to 194. No space on the existing tower that's over there. This tower would allow opportunities for co-location, showed maps of the coverage to the board, and area variance was approved with requested relief. 10 Treble Avenue of McDonald's, the area variance, the front yard setback requested, relief of 8.4 feet requested from the 10 feet to 1.6 feet from the property line. Overhang of the drive-through canopy would be right at the property line. Public hearing is scheduled for 2/27 at 7 p.m. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mick. Next, receiver of taxes, Barb.
Receiver taxes to Supervisor Ostrander and town board members. I received my warrant from Saratoga County Treasurers, excuse me, to collect 2025 county tax bills for the town of Milton. The 2025 property tax bills were mailed out December 31st, 2025. At this time, everyone should have received their bills. If anyone has not received their property tax bill, please contact me at 518-885-9220, extension 119. Taxes collected from January 1st to January 27th, 2025 total $6,352,063.69, with 63% of the taxes collected. My office will be receiving tax payments during the month of January, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., excluding holidays. The last day to pay taxes without penalty is January 31st, 2025. Beginning February 1st, 2025, there's a 1% penalty added to the base tax amount. Taxes can be paid online, in the office, by Dropbox, and by mail. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Respectfully submitted, Lisa Wynette, Receiver of Taxes.
Thank you, Barb. Next, Town Clerk Brenda.
So for the month of December, we had 6 marriages, 3 one-day officiant licenses, 10 certified marriage certificates, 46 certified death certificates, 9 FOIL and search of records requests, 84 dog licensing, with 27 of them being online, 8 hunting and fishing licenses, 3 community center rentals, and 3 junkyard license renewals, with a total of $3,196.04.
Thank you, Brenda. No Youth Bureau. this
No
month, correct?
youth bureau this month.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is public comment number 2. Public comment number 2 is on any town business. Anybody in the audience like to speak on public comment number 2 is now open. Tom Bogosian.
I think I can get it in and we can always get the meeting over. Just a couple of things quickly. Moratorium, is the town board going to be handling the public hearings or whatever during the moratorium on revising the laws or changing laws, or is that going to be planning board, or, you know, how is that going to function?
I think-
Public input?
You want me to answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Talk about that. Right now, we're in the middle of the comprehensive plan, which I think by June or July should be pretty well wrapped up. We'll be moving into zoning.
Okay,
So that's where we'll be addressing that.
so who will be handling that? The comp plan committee or,
Yes, this time, yes.
okay, the getting input?
But love any input,
Okay.
that we're looking for public input.
John, the sincerest form of flattery is imitation, so
I know.
I would consider that flattery. And this is a little off the thing, but Ken, I always appreciate your presentations. And when you were making that display over in the park, I said, did you ever have my son in high school? And because you were a teacher of history in Shen. So I was in Alaska and I asked Commander Bogosian, who's retiring in June, I'll date you. I said, do you remember them? And he said, yes, he was a good teacher and a positive influence. So, thank you. You taught in Shen. You know? Yes.
Mike.
I think the heat is hitting us.
I remember him well. Bogosian, Jordan.
Mercy.
Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And,
Must have been a while back.
yeah, well, he's retiring. Okay, so
Yeah.
I thought I would carry that back as
Yeah.
a positive, Mike. I'm so sorry, but yeah, I
Yeah.
asked him, I don't remember that time, but I said, do you remember that teacher? He goes, yeah, I said, he was good.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks. The other side.
Anyone else in the audience for public comment number 2? Any town business? Hearing none, there's no one on Zoom?
No.
Okay, public comment number 2 is now closed. Any correspondence, Brenda?
Yes. So we have 2 letters. We have one from Captain thanking us for our donation, the town's contract with them, donation. I don't really know. Dave, what do we call it? There we go, contribution. Okay. And a second one from Gateway House of Peace, again, thanking the town for their contribution.
Thank you, Brenda. Any discussion on new business in the town from the board? Eric? No?
I don't know whether to call it new or old most of the time. Have we gotten a signed contract back from the village of the fire contract?
I hand delivered that. It was signed by us, I believe. We're just waiting for them to get it notarized before they return it back to the town.
Okay.
Meg? Barb?
Nothing here.
I just want to say, I being on the Veterans Committee, liaison for the Veterans Committee, I started going again to the deceased veterans ceremonies at the county. And if anybody has an opportunity to go, it's really impressive. It's very nice. This month, they honored a veteran from Clifton Park. So if you have that opportunity, please go down and attend it. I think you'd be impressed by it.
Yeah, let's see where I want to start. Just for information, they have started the utility work on 29 in Rowland. There'll be limited traffic disruption there while they're doing the utility work. Most is actually being done off the roadway. Coming further south, if everybody's been by the new town garage, they have started erecting steel. So it's starting to take the shape of the building, which is a positive thing. Reimagine Milton, we are just working on our seekers and some planning for our phase 1 so we can do the roadways and the utilities. So that's headed in the right direction. And I think that's about it.
Thank you, John. Any old business town would like to discuss? I just have one thing. Since we've acquired the Woods Hollow, the highway department's been in there clearing the trails to make it safe for everybody, and they've been doing a really good job. We've gotten a couple of calls on it already, so thank you, Jason and Kevin, and all the work that you guys are doing over there. And speaking of the veterans, it'll be a discussion amongst the board, but we're looking to do a dedication on the parcel of the Veterans Park to the veterans. We were shooting for Memorial Day, but I don't think we're gonna have our stuff ready in time, so maybe July 4th, but we'll put it out to the public and make sure that everybody's well aware of what we're looking to do
And I
there.
guess it was our understanding that it was never formally, it's always been our Veterans Park, but never formally dedicated, and something Scott and I discussed and would like to get done. So.
Yeah, we're just waiting on some ideas from the county on what type of plaques we want to dedicate to the veterans when we do the dedication to them. So it's going to take a little time, and I don't think May is going to be possible. So we're going to probably shoot for July 4th. Any other old business town? John?
Just last night, we had informational meeting at the community center put on by the group that's doing the
Labella.
the study of town center as far as making it connectivity with walking bike trails here in town, and also the roadways, how we move traffic and such not. And that should be on our website fairly quickly so everybody can take a look at those boards.
Is the survey posted on our website?
Yes, that should be
I
too.
think they were going to try to close it out by this weekend.
Yeah, I
though.
think
It's
so,
pretty
too.
short. No,
They
it's
do have
pretty
a short
short.
survey, so if you
time
go on our
frame.
website, you should be able to find it and participate.
Yeah, that was a good overview and walkthrough about what they're kind of proposing, but it's still a little bit, there was options that people can choose, option A, option B, as far as biking paths and crosswalks and things like that. So definitely participate in that. I think it will be a good thing for our town to have some connectivity there.
Anyone else? Hearing none, there'll be no executive session this evening, so a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolich.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Supervisor Erskine.
Yes.